Hello, readers and writers, and welcome to lesson number 21 of your ELA School Away from School. I'm Mr. Driver, and I'll be your virtual teacher for today's daily lesson. Let's start with some guiding questions. What journey does food take before it gets to your plate? And how do we make decisions about what we eat? Remember, we'll continue addressing these questions today and tomorrow and the weeks to come as we continue to dive deeper and deeper into the topic we've been exploring. Time to get some materials for today's daily lesson. You're going to need your copy of the text, An Organic On-Campus Farm Connects Kids to Agriculture and Growing Food, your copy of lesson number 21, the lesson number 21 note catcher, as well as a pencil. Go ahead and pause the video here and make sure you have all your materials needed for today. We have 3 learning targets for today's work. I can find the gist of a specific section from the text. I can use a variety of strategies to determine the meaning of unknown words and phrases in text. And I can cite text-based evidence that provides the strongest support for my analysis of the text. Let's make sure we keep these 3 learning targets in mind during all of our work together. First, you'll be rereading An Organic On-Campus Farm Connects Kids to Agriculture and Growing Food. For today's lesson, we will focus on the first half of the reading. So with a family member, caregiver, or a friend, reread the introduction, which is immediately following the title of the article, and the sections titled Connecting Farms and Schools, and then also Bringing Radishes Home. As you read along, consider replaying and listening to the text read aloud from lesson number 20. Go ahead and pause the video here while you return to the reading. Now that you've had a chance to look at it again, I want you to think about a couple of things. Remember, the gist is your initial thinking about what text is mostly about. Also, when determining the meaning of unknown or unfamiliar words, consider the following strategies in order. Use of context. Read the sentences before, during, and after to help predict its meaning. Use of word parts like prefix, affix, and suffix. Also look at, of course, the root if there is a root of the word. And if needed, use of reference materials like a dictionary or looking up the definition of a word. Remember that third one should always be a last resort just because it's incredibly helpful for you to try to use the first 2 strategies when first looking at a word that you may not know when reading something. Also, I want you to think about what is the gist of the following sections. The introduction, the connecting farms and schools, bringing radishes home, and are there any unfamiliar words in those sections? How does the Harvest Fields Organic Farm connect farms to schools? Pause the video here and think about each of these questions. Now it's time to have a discussion with your family member, caregiver, or a friend. What is the gist? What makes you think that? Which words were new or unfamiliar to you? What do you think their meanings may be? What is the central idea that the author wants you to take away from reading the text in each section? And according to the article, what is the connection between schools and farms? You'll notice in the second bullet point, there is the EG and then also some words in italics. Those are possible words that you may not know the definition to. If you do, then great. But if not, then of course, always work to see if you can determine the meaning of those words when reading the article and reading the sentences before and then during and then after, as well as trying to use any word parts to figure the meanings out. Go ahead and pause the video here while you discuss these. Please take out your lesson number 21 note catcher. Using the lesson number 21 note catcher, write the gist of the introduction and following sections, connecting farms and schools and bringing radishes home. Write the definition of each word in your own words and what strategy you use to determine the definition. And choose the strongest evidence that best supports how the Harvest Fields Organic Farm is connecting farms and schools. And remember, the strongest evidence is coming directly from the article. Go ahead and pause video here while you complete this work. Time to wrap up today's daily lesson. Let's think about how you do with our learning targets. I can find the gist of a specific section from the text. I can use a variety of strategies to determine the meaning of unknown words and phrases in text. And I can cite text-based evidence that provides the strongest support for my analysis of a text. As a closing, share your writing with someone and tell them why you chose to write what you did. Also, remember to read a book today for 20 minutes. You can also read with a family member, caregiver, or a friend. I also want you to practice your fluency by reading the article from today out loud, or have an adult read the text while you follow along. Then practice rereading the text at least 2 times on your own. Thank you again for learning with me today. Tomorrow for lesson 22, we will look more closely at the second half of this week's article so we can better understand it. Enjoy the rest of your day.